Are you sleepwalking into a retirement strategy that no longer works for most people? If you've got a pension in the UK, there's a good chance that you're being nudged without even knowing it towards a strategy which can have a catastrophic effect on your retirement prospects. Let's see what we can do about that. Hi and welcome back to the channel. My name is Pete Matthew and I'm a chartered financial planner here in the UK, and today we're talking about lifestyling. It's a feature in many pension plans, most plans even, that is supposed to help but often does the exact opposite. So let's unpack what lifestyling is, the reasons I think it could do more harm than good, and what you can do about it. The first issue is that lifestyling is all about caution when what you need is growth. You see, as you approach retirement, lifestyling typically shifts your pension from higher risk equities or shares into so-called safer assets, usually bonds. And the idea is to reduce volatility as you approach retirement. But there's a sort of glaringly obvious problem with that. Retirement is not the end of your investment journey. Really, it's just a transition. It's an inflection point. When you retire, you could be drawing off your accumulated assets for 20, 30, maybe even 40 years. And over those kinds of timescales, you're still going to need growth to beat inflation and maintain your spending power. So taking too little risk at exactly the wrong time could mean that your money runs out far earlier than you might expect. The second thing I don't like about lifestyling is that it's too hands-off. And that's by design, right? Lifestyling is intended to be a set it and forget it feature. And it's baked into so many pension plans, especially workplace pensions. And when you joined the pension, you might have chosen a retirement age, or you might have just left it at the default. And that choice might have been made decades ago. So you join and then you just kind of hope for the best and pretty much forget about it. But hope really isn't a strategy. The truth is that you have to be intentional with your pension, just as in all aspects of your finances and your life. You wouldn't ignore your career or your health for 30 years and expect great results. So why would your pension be any different? The problem with a pension age set years ago is that it might not actually bear any relation to when you would like to retire. It might be 10 years either side of that. And if lifestyling is linked to a date that doesn't make sense anymore, well, it's just all kinds of wrong. So we've got to be planning towards our retirement. Yes, we've got to keep our plans flexible to cope with any changes to that retirement target date. And yes, we must keep things under review. We've created a retirement confidence check that takes just 3 minutes to answer 10 questions about how confident and how prepared you are in your retirement planning. From the respondents so far, 40% of people either have lifestyling linked to their pension or they don't know if they have or not. And it's really important to know this stuff. We just can't leave it to chance. So find out how ready you are. You'll find a link to the scorecard in the description below. Here's another reason why lifestyling doesn't make sense for most people. It's built on an outdated assumption. You see, lifestyling was designed back when most people bought annuities at retirement. And that made sense. In buying an annuity, you were trading your pension pot for a guaranteed income for life. So if there was a market crash 6 months before you retired and your pension fund fell by 20%, well, your income would be 20% lower for the rest of your life, which would suck. Lifestyling sought to prevent that happening by reducing the risk of the investments inside the pension as you approach that sort of cliff edge point in time. But these days, most people don't buy annuities. In fact, according to a study by the Financial Conduct Authority, only about 10% of people opt for a lifetime annuity when they retire. Most people are using drawdown, income blending, more flexible strategies. Yet, lifestyling still assumes you're buying an annuity. And if you're not planning on doing that, you really should not have your pension fund lifestyled. Reason number 4, bonds aren't always safer. As I've said, lifestyling moves your pension fund progressively into supposedly safer assets like bonds. And while that sort of makes sense, part of the issue I have with lifestyling is that bonds are not safe. In 2022, bonds took a hammering, especially long-dated gilts, because normal interest rates started climbing. I had a client come to me who didn't know that his pension was lifestyled, and he saw its value drop by 25% as the supposedly safer investment mix just got beaten up by the markets. Also, not all bonds are created equal, and they're absolutely not immune to market risk. So, blindly shifting your pension fund into bonds as you approach retirement just because the pension fund thinks you should, that's not actually reducing your risk at all. And finally, retirement dates change, but lifestyling doesn't. Most people choose their retirement age when they first set up their pension. So maybe you picked 65 because it sounded about right, or maybe the default pension age is the state pension age, or the national normal minimum pension age, which is currently 55, soon to rise to 57. But the problem is lifestyling doesn't care because it's tethered to that original age, quietly adjusting your investments no matter what your actual intentions are. And that can seriously misalign your portfolio with your real life plans. So that's 5 big reasons to think twice about lifestyling, and we're not done yet. But if you're enjoying this, hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps, and make sure that you don't miss the videos that we make here. So, what is the alternative to lifestyling? The answer is very simple: take control. Review your pension investments regularly, and especially as retirement approaches. You need to understand your risk tolerance, your time horizon, your income needs in the early years of your retirement. You need to know where your pension fits in with all your other sources of retirement cash flow, and what your tax situation is likely to be. Now that's a lot to think about, so if you need help with that, talk to a professional. Please don't leave your retirement on autopilot. Nobody cares more about your future than you, so you need to take control. And if nothing else, my new book, The Meaningful Money Retirement Guide, can help. It's available at all good bookstores. Okay, lifestyling might have made sense in the past, but for most modern retirees, it's out of date, it's too rigid, and it's potentially damaging. So be intentional. Take control and build a retirement plan that fits your real life and is flexible to change. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Have you spotted that lifestyling is switched on in your pension? Are you planning to change that? And while you're here, check out this video about some other mistakes that lots of people make with their retirement planning. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you next time.